Hello and welcome. Today I'm going through the intimidating TBR tag, and I was tagged by Kat at Ginger Bibliophile. I'll leave a link to her channel down below. I know this tag was started on another channel. I'll also have that information down below. It's just kind of hot here in southwestern Ontario right now. It's June 22nd, 2024. Let me know in the comments down below how you manage in your area if, like us, you're subjected to heat waves. On with the topic at hand. So number one, what book have you been unable to finish? The book that I picked, Gods of the New Millennium, this is by Alford. As you can tell by the spine, I've read this book before, and I'm reading it again because it ties in with the Da Vinci spiral that I've been on, ties in with Zecharia Sitchin's work, his ancient civilizations, theories about the Anunnaki, and connections to the Bible. Alan Alford spent 10 years going through Zechariah's work, doing his own research, and coming up with a different idea about all of that. So it's a very fascinating read. It's probably been 20 years since I read it the first time. I started reading this for the second time on December the 1st, 2023. So it's been off and on for a little while here. I love the dedication in this book. This book is dedicated to the human race, that we might understand where we've come from and where we are heading. And I'll definitely be talking more about Alan Alford and his work and the other topics. It isn't just that it's a big book and I'm not very far into it, but this time, as I'm also going through it, I'm making notes because, as I say, I'm connecting this work back to the Da Vinci Code, all the other ancient Egypt work that I've been reading, as well as Zecharia Sitchin. So the intimidating part is just finding that time to sit and read a chapter and do all the summary notes. Number two, you just haven't had the time. That would be Dune. And yes, it's another big read, but again, that isn't what has kept pushing Dune off to the side. I've been wanting to read this again all year. I've made a few plans to read it, and then other things keep coming up. So I'd gotten involved with Horror Mayhem, so I was busy reading different stories and books for that. I'm now into Book Trek 2024. So, as I mentioned in my last live stream, I have all my Star Trek books here that I've been working through. Rocket Summer is going to be starting shortly. So, as much as I would like to read Dune, and I'm very much wanting to revisit it, and Frank Herbert has been waiting quite a while because I bought the box set, I think it was 2 years ago. So, I have 3 of the books in the series. It just keeps getting put off. Number 3, it's a sequel. The last book that I need to finish from the Wheel of Time is New Spring. I discovered this series through Prime, and yes, it mentions it right here on the front, and I'd watched the 8 episodes. I enjoyed the 8 episodes. I'm a fan of The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, those types of worlds and stories, and it seemed like Wheel of Time was going to be the same. I found out it was based on novels, so I bought a box set of 3. These are published by Tor Fantasy. I bought the box set of 3 to give them a try and see if I'd enjoy reading the series. I had no idea at the time that it was a total of 15 books, but it was one of those I had to know how it ended, what happened with all these characters. I enjoyed the writing. I appreciated that in the back there's a glossary because there are a number of characters, time periods, a lot of information. So the glossary at the back really helped. And I ended up reading the whole series throughout 2022. So the last book I have to finish is this one, and it's a prequel to The Wheel of Time. So it keeps getting put off because I already know how the story ends. Yes, I had to add in question number 4. Somehow I missed it, even though when I do my videos, I end up watching them at least twice to make sure I have the wording, everything right. As I said at the start, it was crazy hot here for days, and I obviously was out of it more than I thought. As you'll notice, there's been a big change in my workspace, and for the first time ever, we have air conditioning. So hopefully if that humidity comes back again, which I've been told it definitely will, my brains won't get quite so scrambled this time. In any case, question number 4 was about books you haven't read yet because, and number 4 is it's brand new. As this picture shows, I had several brand new books. If you've been following me and my book hauls, I've added probably over 30, if not 40 books to my collection. And I always get excited when I get new books, and then I get all behind, and that's why my TBR gets insane. But in any case, from this pile, and I'm looking down at the picture because I don't have all the books in front of me, but from this pile, I've already finished Hell House. So a shout out to Revenant Reads for leaving a comment about that book, and I definitely enjoyed the read. I'm very much wanting to get to Lovecraft, but I've been grabbing a few other books first. From that pile, I've already read 2 of the Star Trek logbooks. I'll be talking about them in an upcoming video. And I've read The Tale of the Body Thief, which I discovered I didn't actually read decades ago when I was initially following Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles. I've read Edgar Cayce, The Sleeping Prophet, from that pile already. So yeah, it's my TBR goes all over the place, and like I say, when I get new books, I'm always excited to read them, and then oh wait a minute, I have other books that I need to read, so it goes all over the place. So I am hoping adding this into the video is going to make sense. Fingers crossed, I won't have to use this too much. It's nice today being able to have the windows open. And of course, this is quiet so I can record. Number 5. You read a book by the same author and didn't enjoy it. This is one of those rare, for me, DNFs. I may keep a book on my shelf for a decade and eventually finish it. Star Woman by Lynn V. Andrews is a DNF going to my pass it on unhaul pile. I tried reading Lynn Andrews years ago. I'm interested in shamans and that concept and the training and different cultures and how all of that's viewed and how those women are treated and respected in some of the societies. I'm just not into an individual from Beverly Hills who in their writing just doesn't seem to put the pieces together very well and is forever stumbling into, well, I'm sorry if it sounds rude, but how could you be so stunned situations. And it's part of why I didn't get into reading more than one of her books years ago. There's just something about this author, she's not for me. Okay, number 6. You're just not in the mood for it. If you've seen some of my other videos or you've chatted with me or listened back on my live streams, I tend to have a number of books on the go. I'm not someone who can just pick up one book, start and finish it, and move on to the next. I've never been like that, and I'm good with being who I am. But in terms of I'm just not in the mood for it. So I always have different books on the go. And then sometimes I'll still pick up a different one that wasn't even in my currently reading pile. So, for example, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Stories. Washington Irving has been waiting for months. I did read Rip Van Winkle. I want to finish The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Again, he's just not an author that does it for me. I know he's famous. I love the story of Sleepy Hollow. I've seen a number of different movie versions. I've never read the story, and I'm still plodding through it. Classic Victorian and Edwardian ghost stories. Again, you'd think I'd get through something like this quick, as if you've seen my videos. I love ghost stories. I'm finding this a bit of a tough read. The Secret World of Weather. This is by Tristan Gooley. I'm fascinated. I got started. I have my little sticky notes. I just haven't been into I want to read that. Moonchild by Aleister Crowley has been on the go for a little while. I enjoy the story. I enjoy his writing style. It's certainly nowhere near what I would have expected based on the reputation of Aleister Crowley. I just finished The Body Thief by Anne Rice, and that is a whole lot spicier. And then The Complete Idiot's Guide to Speed Reading. Definitely need to get through this. I did go through and do the test, so I was pretty excited about that. And then I need to finish getting to that. But again, when I'm deciding to pick up what to read on a particular day, there's a lot of factors. Do I need to finish something for an upcoming video? Am I involved in a book event? All that type of thing. For me, part of it is what mood am I in? Do I need a brain break from the everyday world or a different project? All of that goes into what am I going to read next. Number 7, it's humongous. I actually have 2 that apply to that prompt. And I just talked about these in my live stream, so they're not so much a read front to back, but they are humongous and I do want to read them. This is the illustrated anthology of world myth and storytelling. The editor is C. Scott Littleton, and it's humongous. I love mythology. It will tie in with so many other things, and I love this book. It has gorgeous illustrations. It covers so much. We've got Greece and Rome, Odin, so the North, god of war and magic, dragon throne. Like, there's just so much. Maybe what I'll do is pick a chapter and do a video chapter by chapter. And, well, it means I'll have videos for quite some time, but that may be one way to get through that. The other book that I mentioned the other day, and this honker's been waiting for probably 20-25 years. This is Ghosts. So again, I love reading ghost stories, but I can manage Haunted Canada much easier than I can manage this big one. The Encounters with the World Beyond, Haunted Places, Haunted Houses, Haunted People. This is by Hans Holzer, and although a number of people who may be interested in ghosts and the paranormal, that type of thing, I'm sure a lot of them definitely know the names Ed and Lorraine Warren, particularly if you've read anything or heard anything about the Amityville Horror or the Enfield Ghost and so many others that Ed and Lorraine were connected with. The Conjuring is another one. Hans Holzer was also a name very familiar to people who were looking into that type of thing. And I've been fascinated with the paranormal since the 1970s. So I'm familiar with Hans Holzer. I'm familiar with Ed and Lorraine Warren. I've been wanting to read this book for quite some time, but again, it's huge. There's just so much information in it. And I don't know, maybe if I start a series of videos that relate to ghosts, then I'll finally get through reading that one. But those are my two humongous waiting to be read. Number 8, because it's a cover buy that turned out to have poor reviews. I don't really cover buy. Sometimes a cover if it's amazing artwork, so something like the Unsolved Mysteries, but I don't typically buy a book and then look up reviews. I'll buy it and then I'll read the book myself and I might check the reviews after, which is kind of funny because one of the things in my description box is to check Goodreads and you can see the reviews first. But with books, I'm the same as I am with movies. I'll watch it or I'll read the book and I'll make a decision and then I might check what other people are saying, but I like to base my opinion more on what my experience is with it. I enjoy booktube videos because it gives me an idea of what is this resource about, whether it's a fiction or nonfiction. So I avoid anything with spoilers, but I do enjoy videos that give me a snippet of what I could potentially get from that book. Number 9, what is the most intimidating book in your TBR pile? The book that I have is The World Treasury of Physics, Astronomy, and Mathematics, and this is edited by Timothy Ferris. I'm interested in it, certainly astronomy. That whole cube is astronomy books. Math is not my thing. I can do the basics, but it just doesn't sit in my brain. Same with physics. I could rock chemistry. I was so excited with my mark in university, but physics, for some reason, quantum physics, I can wrap my head around. I can't explain it to other people, but basic physics, it just doesn't sit there. So this book has been waiting probably 30 years. I may get to it at some point, hopefully, because it might actually help me understand some other things. But yeah, that's definitely the intimidating book. And again, it's funny with connections because another book that has been waiting for me to finish it is Seeing in the Dark. This is edited by Timothy Ferris. It has been a good read at the start. I just haven't finished it. And I love the example that he mentions in the beginning about light pollution and how people just don't clue in about the stars and what's up there, partly because they can't see them. So years ago, when there was a huge power outage in Los Angeles, the lines for police and everything else were just jam-packed because people were freaking out about these lights in the sky and they had no idea what they were because they haven't actually seen stars. So I'm curious to find out what else is in that book. I just haven't read it yet. But again, there's another tie-in, right? I hadn't clued in until I was looking for these books to do this video that the intimidating book is written by Timothy Ferris, and I have another book to finish by him. So, like I've said before, there's always those different connections that come up. Anyhow, that is my responses to the prompts for the intimidating TBR. As Kat mentioned when she tagged me, yes, I do read a variety of books that cover a lot of subjects in different genres. Prompt number 10 is to tag some folks. So I'm going to tag Janie from the Crafting Bookworm. I think you may have fun with this. Anyone else watching this video, if you would like to do it, by all means. I'd love to hear your responses about a TBR. Be sure to check the description box down below for links to the channels that I've mentioned. Oh, yeah. If you enjoy this video, be sure to give that like button a little tickle. If you haven't subscribed already and you enjoy content of a bookish nature, nature videos, or silly cats, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you know when I upload content that may be of interest to you. Until next time, take good care.